It's gonna suck. I'm gonna be honest, I probably shouldn't even be recording this right now. I just got a cavity filled, so my mouth is still kind of numb. It's like, so, probably shouldn't even be talking this much, but I just wanted to get this off my chest, I guess. My mouth is probably gonna move really weird for this whole video. I guess I left not quite suddenly. I mean, I told you guys that I was leaving, but still, I was just kind of like, hey, bye. I was really struggling. You know how when you're a kid and your classmates tease you all the time, they bully you even, and you try to talk to an adult about it, and they'll tell you, don't worry, it'll go away when you're an adult. You don't have to worry about that as an adult. It's not true. For those of you who don't know, I work as a one-on-one paraprofessional for a kid with special needs. And for kindergarten and first grade, he had the same teacher. And that teacher did not like me at all. She was kind of a terrible person. And I say that because she bullied me relentlessly. In kindergarten, she was, she could be a little condescending and snippy, and whenever I made a mistake, she wouldn't let it go for a while. But this year was a lot worse. So for those of you who don't know, when I was in high school, I was sexually assaulted, and over the summer, I saw the guy again. It sucked. It really took a toll on my mental health, because at the time I was really working on myself beforehand, and I was really getting better. But seeing him, it just brought back all those old memories and feelings. So there was some real mental health regression there. And it was not too long before the school year started back up. And so when I was still reeling from seeing that guy, that was when I started working with that woman again for the second year in a row. And that was when she started treating me terribly. So she was kind of kicking me while I was down. And it just got worse and worse as the school year went on. I mean, I didn't even want to finish the first semester. It got so bad. All she ever did was yell at me, tell me I was the problem, tell me I wasn't good enough. She wouldn't communicate with me. She would purposely withhold information from me so I wouldn't know what was going on, so she would have a reason to yell at me. She wouldn't let me have any kind of authority over the other kids in my students' class. I mean, it was just... And I tried standing up for myself, both talking to her in private and in the moment. And I have two bosses. I told both of them about it. One was very supportive. She would let me come to her if I needed anything. We're really close friends outside of work. But she was not in a position where she could really do anything about it because she wasn't that teacher's boss. So I told my other boss, that was both of our bosses. She didn't do anything about it. She said, oh, I'll keep an eye out for it. Don't let that get to you. But of course, the teacher wasn't going to act that way in front of her. So nothing was going to be done. She wouldn't catch her in the act. We even tried to have many meetings with that teacher. At first, we just had a meeting about things that we could do for my student. So that way, she couldn't give me the whole, you're not doing anything right, because I was doing exactly what I was supposed to do. She also used to work in special education before she became a regular teacher. There's a reason why she's not in that department anymore. That is a long story, and that is not my information to share what happened. But let's just say that she did not deserve that special education job. She did not know what she was doing. She was awful at it. Anyway, so that meeting took place with both my bosses without me in it. And then it just continued to get worse. And so I had a meeting. I led a meeting with both of my bosses and with her. And it wasn't like, hey, we're going to talk about your behavior. It was just, hey, you doing this makes it really hard to do my job for these reasons. So I need you to quit doing this so I can do this. And the whole time she was like basically telling me, well, you're the problem. I've done nothing wrong. And she would keep digging up old information of all these mistakes I've made in the past, or she didn't like the way I did this and this. There's every single day I was doing something wrong. And even when there was a day that she wouldn't tell me I was doing something wrong, I was just walking on eggshells. Every day I was just waiting for her to stop what she was doing and tell me what I was doing wrong. I should also mention that she would yell at me in front of the children. So they thought that they could treat me the way that she treated me. Which is funny because most of those kids loved me. But after seeing the way that she treated me, they would tell me things like, I don't need to listen to you. You're not a real teacher. Which, I mean, yeah, I'm not a teacher, but I'm a teacher. It's really hard answering the question of whether or not I'm a teacher, because, like, I am, but I'm one-on-one. Anyway, so yeah, my mental health got really bad, because first it was seeing him again, and then it was having to deal with her every day, and I was with her all the time. I couldn't escape. And I really felt like I couldn't do my job. The way she made me feel was just awful. I felt absolutely worthless and useless. Those are kind of the same things, I guess, but you know what I mean. I felt like I wasn't good enough. And so, seeing that guy on top of having to deal with her every day just really caused a spiral. And I know that just saying it out loud makes it sound like it wasn't that bad, but when you experience it, that is bad. So even though that wasn't the worst thing that I had been through, that was the worst my mental health had ever been. I was having anxiety and panic attacks every day. I was so depressed that I would spend all of my time outside of work in bed. I was crying all the time, which I'm not even a crier. Because when I was in elementary school, I was bullied. And when you cry in front of your bullies, they're gonna bully you more. So I trained/taught myself to stop crying, which sometimes if I actually do want to cry, I physically cannot. So when I cry, it's a big deal. And I cried all the time. I would spend all my time in bed. And I either wouldn't eat, or I would get delivery, or eat something frozen because it was just too much to just make food. So I gained a lot of weight from that, but it was also from my medicine. I take medicine that works as both an antidepressant and as an anti-anxiety medicine. As some of you know, I have a history with self-harm, and I was kind of forced to stop doing it after my parents found out that I was assaulted. And lately I've been really struggling with that. I haven't relapsed yet, so I guess you consider that a win. And eventually it got to the point where I was drinking a lot. I would sneak alcohol into work, which probably illegal, definitely frowned upon. And one time my parents will come over once a day while I'm at work to let my dog out, because I live really close, and she's a Yorkie and they're hard to potty train. They're more prone to accidents, so they're just trying to help with that. But one time my mom came over to my apartment to let my dog out, and she found a bottle of alcohol on my nightstand, and she confronted me about it. And she knew that I was struggling because I had come to her crying quite a few times about it. She checked on me. She asked me if I was doing okay. Told me she didn't want me to turn to alcohol. Also important to note that my parents are heavily religious, and they're very much against alcohol. But it wasn't really from a judgy standpoint. It was from an I'm concerned about you standpoint. And I told her I just wanted to try it. I just turned 21 in October. I'm just trying to see if alcohol lives up to the hype. And I lied to her because I didn't want to stop. I didn't want to cope with it in a sober manner anymore. Which I wouldn't get drunk. I've never been drunk. But I would still sneak it every morning and drink it. And I'd finish the cup or bottle or whatever I had before 10 a.m. It was like every time I got anxious or she got on my nerves, I'd take a little swig or something. I am now 4 or 5 weeks sober because I finally told my dad about it. And I told him, I lied to you guys. I said I wanted to try it, but I really just didn't want to stop. This is, school year is almost over at this point. So I was able to stop, but still didn't feel better, of course. And by the end of the year, my nerves were shot from having to worry every day about her yelling at me or trying to tell my boss that I did something wrong. I mean, there was a time where one of the kids in my student's class was walking in a really funny way, with fully kicking his legs out, and I put my hand on his shoulder, I think, and I told him to stop. And she goes, "Why did you grab him? Do not do that. Next time there's a problem, come to me." Just in the hall, in front of all those kids, and in front of a few staff members. Just as an example. Tried to go to therapy for it.
Okay, I accidentally lied right here. I decided to go to therapy because I saw that guy again, and the regression. But we did talk about that teacher a lot in therapy. Anyway, back to the video.
I had 2 sessions with a therapist. I was supposed to have had a third, but I ended up having to go to urgent care. And I called them, and that was when I found out that my therapist was leaving. And I was not able to have a third appointment with said therapist, and haven't been able to find a therapist since. I think the one thing that really got me through it was my dog. Because no matter who I talked to, they just wouldn't make it better. Half the time I just got, this will just make you stronger. You shouldn't let this get to you. But I did let it get to me because I was always around her. I didn't feel strong at all. She tore me down.
I actually just found a note that I had written during a teacher in service, and it says here, "I feel disgusting. My hair is not brushed. I am not wearing perfume or deodorant. I brushed my teeth on the way instead of before I left. I have slept in this hoodie and threw on pants. I have not showered in a long time. I am not wearing a bra. I don't belong here. They're all better." And another one here that says, "I just want to die. There is no life in me." So she really made me feel bad.
I mean, I went back and looked through some pictures of myself from the past few months, and I just had like dead eyes. There was no life in those eyes. So people didn't help, but my dog did, because every time I come home, no matter how bad the day was, she is always so excited to see me. She will give me kisses, she'll jump up on my chest, she'll run around in circles. I love that damn dog. I am still not doing fantastic. School's only been out for a few weeks now. And even though I'm not working with that woman anymore and shouldn't have to work with her ever again, still kind of coming out of it a little bit. I mean, my confidence is this big, and my hate for myself is this big. But the other night I did go to my parents' house, and my sister also lives with them, and just sat with all of them in the living room, and I was like, hey, need your help getting that confidence and like for myself, please. I was like, yeah, of course. Which is funny because when I was a teenager, they were kind of a shitty support system, but now that I'm an adult, it's like, this is supposed to sound way more optimistic than it's sounding. Everybody thank Fifi, because without her, I would not be here. Right? She is my angel. And I love her. Yeah. I think as long as I have her, I'll be okay. I don't really know where to end this, honestly. I wish I had more of an optimistic ending for this, but still kind of working on it, I guess. I just thought you guys should know the truth. And for those of you who are struggling with the same things that I've been, I just want you to know that you are not alone. It definitely feels like it, for sure. But we'll be okay.